is, and I value your opinion. So,
thank you. You made me blush over here.
What we discussed all the problems.
Yeah.
And everything we're seeing. What are some of the solutions? I know you say you don't know where this is going, but you think any solutions come to mind that you've thought like, hey, maybe they should just do this or
yeah. Basically, what we're talking about kind of in the middle of this conversation is, like I said, the whole accountability for the cops. You got to have accountability. You can't keep pushing stuff under the rug. If you start getting these guys, that's even like that whole thin blue line thing. The support for the police doesn't bother me. Like, I support the police, but the way they do it is kind of like thin blue lines stick together. Let's like look out for each other, which kind of has the underlying thing of like, hey, like we take care of our own, which is like some mobster shit. It's like we're gonna make sure we'll take care of you. So if you do something like that, don't be scared to make a mistake, because if you make a mistake, we got your back, which is cool in most professions. It's not cool when your mistake ends up in somebody's death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or even if it doesn't get to somebody's death, like we could take all the deaths out of it. Just every time you see a
hurting
cop,
somebody,
just wailing on somebody, just beating them.
Yeah.
And it's like that person's not resisting, and you're just frustrated. Like, I see what's going on. You're a man who's frustrated that you have to chase this guy down, or you're frustrated that he may have did something to you or said something to you, and now you're fighting him. And it's just like, yeah, man, we can't have that. And so if that stuff gets reported, gotta get those dudes out of there. I think that'll fix most of police brutality. I know I've heard some people say like cops shouldn't have guns, which could be cool if we live in a society where the civilians don't have guns. But if you
it's the wild, wild west out here.
Yeah, but if you take it to where like cops can't have guns at all, because people are really scared about the lethal force thing. If you make it to where they can't have guns at all, you make them way more of a target than what they are in the first place. Like, cops do get targeted sometimes. It was a black female cop got shot in her car like a couple days ago. Like, somebody just walked past her car and just shot her.
Jeez.
Yeah, so like they can already be targets because they're the authority figure. Some people are just on some fuck authority stuff, so they can already be targets, and then you're gonna take their pistol off of them. Oh man, have you seen how cops handle situations like in London?
Yeah, they surround them and they keep a distance, and
they basically let you tire yourself out.
Yeah, they have the aid of other cops. Like, they know, they basically give you
it's one of the silliest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but it's effective.
Funny. Huh?
But it's effective. And it's like,
I don't think
for London, it's effective.
Oh yeah, for London, it's effective. Yes.
Yeah, like you said, we're a society where we're very Second Amendment, right?
Yeah.
Gun driven, like bang bang. We don't take no, But in that situation, it's effective because, like you said, you corner somebody, and eventually they're gonna realize, oh, I have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're gonna have to either give up or tire yourself out, and they'll arrest you. But I think there's also tactics out here. Like, I know one of the questions a lot of people ask is like, why can't they just shoot to maim?
Yeah.
And from what I understood from listening to some criminal justice majors and stuff, is a lot of times you maim someone and they'll either sue you because that's what happens, or you don't maim them enough and you end up getting killed yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like they're literally trained to shoot to kill.
Yeah. Because not only that, shooting under pressure is difficult if you try to shoot for like a leg. And so that's why you're going to shoot center mass. Actually, I know exactly why they do it. You already mentioned it. I took a concealed carry class. Man, it had to be 2008 or something like that. 2010. It was taught by a cop. And he basically said, what he said to me while he was teaching the class about how you should kill somebody if you pull the trigger, like how you just basically need to kill them, because he said it's going to be bad on your psyche, but it's going to be good for you financially, basically. Like saying, courtroom, stuff like that. The fact that a cop said that while teaching that class, and I know the people that's taking class, and they always say, yeah, you need to go ahead and take the guy out if you're going to shoot him, because he can come back and sue you, especially like in California and stuff like that, where somebody who is robbing you can sue you if something bad goes during a robbery. Just hearing a cop say that, and it's like, oh, that's why they kill everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's literally what he just told me to do, and he's a cop. So what do you think he's doing? He's like, oh,
yeah.
This motherfucker can't testify if he did.
And he's protected by the law. So, that's another one of those things. I did hear about a law getting passed or being brought up. It if a cop has, I don't know if they're doing it to all cops, or I don't know the actual stipulations or the specifics of that law, but the gist of it was they're no longer protected by whatever law that protects cops from.
Oh, it was some immunity. Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah. So that's getting dissolved.
Oh shit, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, now you got to wonder if it's gonna be a hard time attracting police officers, though. That's the only thing about that.
My thing is, I remember. Well, actually, I don't specifically remember, but I remember my dad talking about beat cops. You know what beat cop is, right?
Yeah.
Walk the beat.
Yep.
Kind of neighborhood cops. And I remember a couple years ago, going back to Philly, the first time in my life I've ever seen a beat cop. They're walking in pairs, walking in the hood. And I'm like, no way is this happening. What is going on? And a part of me was like, you're asking for trouble. But the other part also remembers growing up, we didn't have beat cops where my grandmother lived, but I do remember the same cops patrolled around there.
Yeah.
So they were familiar with the people and the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I remember there was like a mentally ill guy who had a knife in the street or something like that. And he's like ready to go off. And an officer showed up on the scene. First thing he did was pull out his gun. And he got backup. And the backup, because the officer who pulled out his gun, I don't remember ever seeing him around. So he was like a stranger.
Yeah.
But the officer who came up as backup patrolled the area. And they're like, put your fucking gun down. That's fucking Crazy Eddie. Like, they know who that is. And they go up to him and they're like trying to calm him down. And he's like, this guy. And he was more upset that the cop pulled the gun out on him.
Yeah.
Rather than the police being there in general.
Yeah.
And the cop was able to arrest him, like calm him down, tell him to put the knife down, got him arrested without having a gun out. And that was the first time I thought to myself, why don't they do this everywhere?
That'd be nice.
Because, not for nothing, I remember, actually I was listening to Undisputed with Skip
Shannon,
and Shannon, and they had Lil Wayne on. And Lil Wayne was talking about how when he shot himself, Uncle Bob or whatever the cop's name is, he said that Birdman he was the one who locked Birdman up.
Yeah.
And he said, no, he's a good guy because whenever we would come around and we were in trouble or some shit like that, he wouldn't chase us to arrest us. He would chase us, tell us, take everything we had on us, like drugs and stuff like that, and tell us to go home.
Ah.
So it's stuff like that where it's like, damn, you're getting a second chance. You're getting a third chance. He said, but the ninth time you do it, he's taking you to jail because he's giving you those strikes. And it's like, yeah, that cop has been patrolling that area. He understands the people and understands the predicament and the situation. So instead of locking everybody up, and we could do a whole podcast on how the criminal justice system is and prison reform alone, but keeping those people out of prison it's just better overall for everyone. Yeah,
especially earlier in life, because once you get into that slide, I mean, I grew up around so many people who went to jail. My own dad and stuff, like they get to the point they go to jail so many times, especially from an early age, that they start saying weird shit like, man, I feel more comfortable in there anyway.
Yeah.
And so they're not looking to always break the law, but like if they do break the law and something bad happens, they're just like, whatever.
Yeah. I had an uncle who was addicted to heroin, and he would purposely get arrested and sent to prison in the winter because he had a place to stay and get released in the summer.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, imagine living a life like that.
Shit, wow.
Which is it just explains, I mean, that just touches on a ton of different topics problems that shouldn't be had in a society as rich as America. But
yeah,
it's just there's a ton of things that just need to be addressed, and But I mean, just to sum everything up, I really like what I'm seeing. I mean, not all the terrible things, but I like the progress that I'm seeing and the support for that movement. And I hope some really good change comes out of it, not just pandering.
Yeah. Can't get that image out of my head right now.
Black Panther, bro. When I seen that, I had to turn my phone off. Like, I can't do this anymore. But yeah, man, we're coming to the end of the conversation here. Is there any final thoughts you want to give listeners or opinions, viewers that you want to share?
No, I think that's pretty much all I got, man. It's just, like I said, accountability for the cops. I done said it 5 times already. Like I said, you do that, you fix the majority of your problems. You ain't gonna be able to complain about police brutality and dudes with long rap sheets if they ain't there in the first.
Yeah, correct. Agreed. All right, well, that's pretty much it. We had a pretty good conversation. Like I said, man, I wanted, after seeing that that Facebook post, I was like, whoa, somebody must have really got under Zeke's skin, because you don't ever share your opinion on stuff like that.
It was several people that were just Candace Owens shit. It was those Candace Owens videos and stuff like that. And they're posting these videos high as twins because, they didn't flip, from where they were like 4 or 5 years ago. And they're sharing these videos, and it's like, and Prager University is another one, and they just be like, there's no race problem. They're essentially making it up. And it's like, bruh.
Yeah, there's been a race problem for hundreds of years since this country started. I mean,
I even saw a good one with Ben Shapiro. Well, I think Ben Shapiro's like a smart dude, but he either intentionally misses facts, or maybe he doesn't talk to anybody I know he argues with people sometimes, but he argues with people that are not good at arguing.
Yeah,
so maybe nobody can move him.
Yeah,
and so he was making an argument about how, like, there's no, like, systematic racism in America or whatever. And he was like, well, I'm going to debunk this video, step by step. And he's watching a video about systematic racism. And then he was saying something to the effect of, like, well, yeah, they said there was redlining here, in America. And it was all the way to the 60s. But by the 80s, it was over. And, like, that was his whole, like, thing about, like, redlining has no effect on anybody anymore. And I'm just like, bro, you are wilding. Wow. Everything has, like, an effect in ways, man. It ain't like, dude, the second you pass that shit, it's over now.
It's willful ignorance.
Racism solved 1980. Like, no, bro.
It's willful ignorance is what I call it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It's the same thing when people are like, when Drew Brees was talking about the flag, like, nobody brought that up. Why did you even bring that up?
Did you get offended by that?
I didn't get offended. No, I don't care what your stance is on the flag. What pisses me off is when people make it about something it's not. So, like, we all know it. Colin Kaepernick kneeled for the first time almost 4 years ago.
Yeah,
about 4 years ago, right?
Yeah. No, I think he's been out of a job for 4 years. He was probably doing it a year or two before that.
Okay, so whenever he first knelt, when it first got attention, was it's been well over 4 years.
Yeah.
It was never about the flag. It was about what he was standing for, right?
Yeah.
Or kneeling for, essentially. And everybody made it about the flag.
Yeah.
4 years later, flash forward towards today, and people are still talking about disrespecting the flag.
Yep.
And what bothers me is, like, bro, I don't know how much we got to ram it into your head that that's not what it's about. And they just keep reverting back to that same talking point, and that's not.
Yeah, I actually had a mind-blowing moment maybe a year ago with that. One of the dudes in the office was just like just going hard on Cap. And I was kind of listening to him at first, but I let him finish. And I was like, bro, like, you do realize, like, it's not about the flag in any way, right? And he was like, would you kneel? I said, honestly, no, I wouldn't kneel. But if somebody was next to me kneeling, I'm not finna get offended about it. You know what I'm saying? And so he said, then what was it then? And I explained it to him. I was like the same thing that we keep saying about, like, it's not about this. It's about, stopping racial injustice or whatever. What I realized in that moment, his face, he was like, oh, well, why didn't he just say that? And I was just like,
bro,
oh shit, you consume one media.
Yeah.
So he's never heard the counter argument. And it's been 4 years. He's never heard the counter argument. And I was like, oh,